Wonderful result for the Newton team there. Royce Newton was out on strapping duties today, as his daddy's also away having a knee replacement, I believe, or a hip replacement, Royce did mention. So fantastic result there to see the Lionsgate but get back into the winner's circle.
Second win for the campaign, Tess, and he's been going really good all throughout, really. And he had to do a bit of work last start leading into today, but he just seemed to travel the best in running and put them away really nicely over the concluding stages. Off the back of that win today, you'd suggest he could win a couple more maybe before they tip him out for a well-earned break.
Absolutely, there's plenty left in the tank for sure, but our attention now shifts to race number 3 here at the KBRC. The metres down handicap, handicap, over the 1100. The one is Pearly Nugget for Helen Harding and Zephyr Johnson Porter.
She's been terribly consistent in this company, this preparation, Pearly Nugget. She's been going very well. She's won a couple of races. She was a dominant winner, really, 3 starts ago, defeating Dreamers Never Die by 3.5 lengths, and was a winner last start as well, defeating that same galloper by a length. She's been really thriving, being ridden for speed, and in between both of those wins, she actually ran second behind He's Angelic, who went to town and raced well as well. So she brings some pretty impressive form to the table. 61 kilos is getting right up there in the weights, I will say. That's a fair impost, but she maps for the run of the race from barrier 3. She's going to slide forward into a very prominent position in running, you would think. And the strength of this race, this looks another very winnable assignment.
The 2 is Sunshine Tafe. She's back with Peter Fernie now, and Braden Garth rides.
I think she looks pretty well placed here, Tess. She's going to find this a lot easier than the race that she resumed in on that heavy track at Pinjarra in Graduation Company behind Spectacular Park. She didn't seem to handle the heavy conditions there, and she was also in the wrong part of the track on the day. That was a day where you had to be on those inside lanes, and she was out in the middle of the track and had to check off heels a couple of times to make her run at them in the straights as well. As mentioned, this is going to be a lot easier. She was a 3-year-old No Metro win race winner last preparation, and a Class 3 winner over the 1400 metres as well. She was well backed early, but she's back out the door in betting, which is a little bit of a concern for mine, but there does look to be really good speed in this race, and I do think that the good tempo is going to suit her, given she is likely to settle midfield in running, and if she can find a nice spot and a track into the race on straightening, I thought this looked a nice race for her, and she poses the value for mine, Tess, currently in the market.
It's $7.50 as well there. Now we move on to the 3. Diego Dynamite looking to make it 3 in a line this preparation. Kerry Martin and Holly Nottle.
He's certainly loving life on the goldfields as Diego Dynamite, a pair of wins at his previous 2 runs. He really belted them last start. He always travelled boldly at the front of the field, and then once Holly Nottle was able to ask him for an effort on straightening, he really kicked away from them with a little bit of authority, but there does look to be a fair bit of pressure here. There's certainly some other speed influences in this race. I do think that the step back to the 1100 metres is going to suit him. He gets a bit of weight relief. He drops 2 kilos off that last start win, stepping into 58 plus companies. This is certainly a bit harder, so he would need to elevate if he is going to be winning a 3rd race in a line, Test, but horses are running for Holly Nottle at the moment, and if he can make his way to the front, he's going to take some running down again.
The 4 is Perori. It has the blinkers back on and the tongue tie back on today for Gary Bowen and Alicia Whittington.
And I'm sure Gary will be hoping with the blinkers going on today that might just be able to sharpen her up a little bit today. She just hasn't returned the same horse this preparation. As we know, she's very quick and she can be ridden with aggression early doors to hold a position over the speed. She's been well beaten in her 2 runs back from a break and would certainly need to lift on those 2 runs to be featuring here.
As we can see on camera, she made her way to the barriers nice and early, so we move on now to the 5, Twist of Gold. Last start winner, Peter Fernie, Tash Faithful.
She's in some really good form. She's won a couple of races this campaign, Twist of Gold, albeit in lesser company than what she meets here today. She was a Class 2 winner over 1100 metres 3 starts ago, then she was a Class 2 winner over 1100 last start, leading all the way, defeating the Lions Gate, and that's pretty good form. We've already seen that form hold up in pretty dominant fashion as well a little bit earlier today. I just think this looks a pretty tricky setup for her here, Tess. There's plenty of speed drawn underneath her. She's a mare that's best when she's able to find a position in front or outside the lead. I'm not sure she's going to get there in running with the amount of speed influences in this race from the barrier that she has drawn out there in barrier 9. She's been a very consistent Class 2 type of a mare over the course of her career, and she does need to elevate here today into 58 plus company, and I thought that the assignment looked pretty tough given the map and where she's likely to end up in running if she can't get across from the gate.
The 6 is a Natural Gem for Nev Newton and Troy Turner, chasing a race-to-race double.
Another mare who's been very consistent in this company this preparation, ran third behind Tea Biscuit in a fast run 1200 metres, third behind He's Angelic, and third again last start behind Pearly Nugget, only beaten a length at the finish. Got a long way off the speed, but really like the way she attacked the line over the final 200 metres. Troy Turner jumps on board her for the first time. That's always going to be a positive, and the speed on should suit her. She does get off the speed, and she can really come with a run. If they are stopping up in front, she's one that's certainly going to be charging home late.
A big watch here for the next galloper. There's been a massive market move for King Moya, the 7, $17 into $4.60, now at $5.50. He has his first race start here in the West, and his first up today, Justin Robbins, Alex Hearn.
It's certainly money you need to take note of, Tess. $17 into $6, a really good go for this galloper, who is first up making his WA debut for Justin Robbins. Certainly has some ability. He was a Strathalbyn benchmark 56 winner back in March over the 1200 metres, and ran third at Balaclava over 1200 metres in a Colts and Geldings benchmark 58. So he's certainly shown some ability racing in some of the lesser races over there in South Australia on their provincial circuit. He's got some really good fresh form as well. His best runs in his career have tended to be on the fresher side of things. I thought from a tricky gate he might just need this run as he builds into his preparation, but it wouldn't surprise to see him really put his best foot forward here if he's forward enough.
The 8 is Dublin Red for Paul Tapper and Brennan Louis.
Only been battling in her recent runs, Dublin Red. The inside draw suits her. She's going to get a lovely run in the box seat, but I couldn't have her here off her recent runs.
And the 9 is They Call Me Alvin. First up here today, was very well when going out on course for Justin Robbins and Keshaw Duran.
Was disappointing in a couple of runs here at Kalgoorlie earlier this year. Didn't beat a runner home in those 2 runs, so they tipped him out, gave him a break. He had a recent trial, seemed to move pretty well in that recent trial behind It's a Land, so ran a cracking race first up to make that trial form look pretty good. Happy to watch him here today, back at the races off 63 days, but has a nice soft draw to work with. It wouldn't surprise to see him run an improved effort on his 2 runs a little bit earlier this year.
Just over 3 minutes remaining until the scheduled start time here ahead of race number 3. So we'll take a quick look at the market. Diego Dynamite looking to make it 3 in a line here today. Loving Kalgoorlie he is $2.80 into $2.40. Pearly Nugget on the second line of betting is $3.80 into $4.40, but starting to trim up a little bit now. King Moya, as mentioned, has been a very big market mover. $17 into $6. Twist of Gold, hoping to go back-to-back victories, is at $7. Sunshine TAFE, second up this preparation and back in the care of Peter Fernie, is at $8. Did get as low as $3.70 though. Natural Gem, $15, and double figures the rest. Riley, how are we playing the third?
Thought there was a bit of value here, Tess, with the 2. Sunshine TAFE, who is going to find this race a little bit easier than the race that she resumed in this preparation on a heavy track in Graduation Company. She was never going to be suited with the setup there. Thought she trialled really well leading into this preparation, and as we know, she's a 3-year-old winner. She's a Class 3 winner. She's certainly up to it. She's got a bit of a tricky barrier to have to navigate, but I do think the speed being on in this race, or expected to be on, is going to suit her, given she is likely to settle midfield in running. And from what we have seen from her at her best, I thought if she was able to reproduce that today and take some benefit from having that first up run, albeit it didn't go to plan, under the belt, that she could go really well here. So looking for a bit of value, and I think $8 a nice enough price to have something on the 2 here in Sunshine TAFE from 3. Diego Dynamite, huge respect for what he's been able to do here on the Goldfields in those 2 victories. Was a dominant performance last start. Back 100 metres today to the 1100. This is certainly harder, so we will need to elevate, but if Holly Nottle can make her way to the front with him, then he's going to be very hard to run down once again. So I am respecting of what he's been able to do. The 1 in for third, Pearly Nugget, she's had a terribly consistent campaign, this mare. She continues to go from strength to strength, and she'll land right there over the speed in running as well. But the 61 kilos is starting to really get up there in the weights. And 6 in for fourth, Natural Gem. If they do overcook things in front, she's in some good form, and she's one that will be charging late if the leaders are stopping. finishing 2, 3, 1 and 6 my numbers here, Tess. Thought this race was a little bit more open than what the market probably gives it credit for, but 2 Sunshine TAFE on top for me at a bit of a price.
2, 3, 1 and 6 here for Riley Morgan ahead of race number 3, 2 on top out to $8.50 now and $2.30 the place, so a nice each way bet there. Runners have started moving into the barriers in the hands of the starter now, so we'll hand you upstairs to Darren to call us home.
Okay, thank you, Tess. Tess Daly joining us here as well as Sunshine TAFE walks in for Braden Garth. Diego Dynamite in the red jacket with that black Maltese cross at 2:45. Moving along for Holly Nottle, already with a winner this afternoon. Now we wait for Natural Gem to come in from Neville Newton's yard. Of course, prepared the previous winner, Perori, to come forward. So they continue filling the gates over there at the 1100. Lights flashing blue at this stage. So Perori to come forward. Now King Moyer, this is the one here having its first run in WA from South Australia with Justin Robins. And they picked a fair bit of the overs off. It's now into around 650. Becoming a very interesting runner in the race. So only Natural Gem, stablemate of the previous winner, the Lions Gate, to make its way there. Natural Gem. Troy Turner in the saddle again here for trainer Nev Newton. Understand Nev's in Perth recovering from an operation, so a nice result, that previous winner. And now in goes Natural Gem. And so the lights start flashing red. They're set, race 3. The favourite, Diego Dynamite. Gates spring back, they're off and they're racing. From the inside, Dublin Red, one of the first to go. Pearly Nugget with early dash as well. Going forward here, Twist of Gold will ride the speed in the early stages. Then They Call Me Elvin Perori. Diego Dynamite caught very wide in a muddlingly run first 300. Further back, Natural Gem and Sunshine TAFE as well. And back with those, King Moyer, and having to scoot 3 and 4 deep in a jammed up field as they come down the side. Gee, they're bunched up tightly at the 600 mark. We're over on the inside going through. It's Pearly Nugget who leads them. Pearly Nugget, Twist of Gold, and also on the outside, Diego Dynamite are right there. But they're going to sprint quickly as they come into the turn. Back behind them, next of all, Dublin Red, Perori ridden along under heavy pressure. They Call Me Alvin is next. Sunshine TAFE, King Moyer right off the course, but they balance up now and they've got away these leaders. Pearly Nugget, Twist of Gold down to the 200. Pearly Nugget a half a length in front. Twist of Gold keeps coming, however. Twist of Gold, Pearly Nugget, a 2-horse war. Pearly Nugget kicks, responds close to home. Diving again, Twist of Gold. Oh, I don't think it got there. I thought it might have been Pearly Nugget from Twist of Gold. It's a tight one though. In behind those, Natural Gem and also Dublin Red. A good margin back behind them. Sunshine TAFE, They Call Me Elvin, King Moyer only beat a couple to the line. They included Diego Dynamite, so the favourite finishing right back in the field, and back with it as well is Perori. Pearly Nugget, desperately ridden by Zeph Johnston Porter in front and will cling on. Pearly Nugget, 3 wins now from her past 4 runs for trainer Helen Harding. Has just held Twist of Gold, Tash Faithful. After they booted away from their rivals, it became a 2-horse stoush. And Pearly Nugget was able to kick and respond in a grand effort under 61 kilos. That's after the claim to hold Twist of Gold, giving it 4 kilos in the run to the line. Natural Gem finishing 3rd, 4th, Dublin Red. Diego Dynamite caught deep there, a victim of those circumstances here, just trapped in no man's land, and subsequently buckled to the pressure. Sunshine TAFE didn't really do much, and King Moyer was back wide and very, very deep on the home corner before dropping out. 1.568 and a short head. The margin 2 3/4, 2nd and 3rd in 1.703. The winners are Snippet Sun Mare from Pearlesque. Owned by C. Harding, S. Lawrence, trained by Helen Harding in the Bay of Isles and ridden by Zeph Johnston Porter. Big weekend for Zeph, having booted home his first Saturday Metropolitan winner at Belmont yesterday. Twist of Gold is second to Bondi Mare out of Bullion Bay, trained by Peter Fernie, ridden by Tash Faithful, and Natural Gem third in the So You Think Mare, trained by Neville Newton and ridden by Troy Turner. After the running of race number 3. Next event today, the Kalgoorlie Frank Turich Memorial Handicap over 1400. No changes there. And here from the course of history in Kalgoorlie, the home of the Golden Saddle, they'll get underway at 2:35. Let's go back to Tess, who's down in the yard. And a big weekend for young Zeph Johnston Porter as he makes his way back aboard the winner Pearly Nugget.
Very big weekend indeed, Darren, and a big supporter of his has been Helen Harding all throughout his apprenticeship, and now teaming up really well together. Pearly Nugget, gee, she's tough.
Yeah, great ride. Didn't plan on being in front, never wanted to be there. Yeah, Zeph's just riding great. Very, very happy with him. Tough horse. I won't make her carry those weights again, that'll be it.
What were the thoughts in the straight there where Twist of Gold started to come? I thought, oh, she looks beat, but she really gritted it out, didn't she?
Yeah, look, the pull in weights, I thought it was going to get me, so she dug deep.
Where do you look to next for her?
There's not a lot coming up. I might maybe look at, there's a 64 plus 11 over the round, give her a freshen up.
Team's going very well. Best of the rest for Helen Harding today.
They're all each way chances from here on in, I think.
All right, best of luck. Congratulations here.
Thank you.
There's Helen Harding, and here's Zeph and Johnston Porter.
Thanks, Tess. Yeah, catching up with Zeph and Johnston Porter. Zeph, and that was Pearly Nugget's third win for the campaign. She carried the 61 kilos, and her toughness was certainly on display.
No, absolutely. She's a very honest young filly, and it tries its hardest.
It looked as though you had the outside leader horse covered in the run, especially over the final 100 metres, but Twist of Gold then really fought back late on the line. Did you realise how close it was at the finish?
I honestly thought she got it. I didn't realise how close it was.
First Saturday winner for yourself there yesterday. I'm sure that's a weight off the shoulders, and good to get a result for Darren McAuliffe as well, who's been a big supporter of yours, much like Helen has up here on the Goldfields.
No, definitely. It was real good to get my first Saturday, and Darren McCall always has been there for me, at least in these last 3 months or something. And Helen's always supported me down here, so it's very good that I keep winning for her.
Congratulations yesterday and well done here.
Thank you.
There's Zeph and Johnston Porter combining with Helen Harding and Pearly Nugget. That makes it another win for Pearly Nugget. She's a very tough mare and looks to be a really nice type as well over the round. 1, 5, 6 and 8 were the numbers here out of race number 3 at the KBRC.